Hey everyone, Bruce Eckfeld here. So wanted to talk about a question. I'm actually going to shoot a series of videos on this. A question that comes up, which is, who is coachable? This comes up with prospects when they ask me, like, oh, how do I get the most out of working with someone like you as a coach? And I tell them that, one of the things I look for, one of the things that I'm kind of evaluating is how coachable is somebody. And I think a lot of coaches do this because at the end of the day, we want to be successful, we want to generate results. And the fact is there are some people who are going to be more successful in a coaching environment, some who are not. And so wanted to cover some of those things because they're questions and topics that come up a lot. So the first thing I look at is how self-aware somebody is. And this is just how well do they see how their own actions, behaviors are contributing to the results that they're getting. How aware are they of exactly what those behaviors are, what different behaviors might be, how their behaviors are impacting other people in different ways, how they're contributing to the results that they're getting. And so this self-awareness is a key one because if someone is not reasonably self-aware, it's tough to give them feedback. It's tough for them to kind of see how what they're doing is contributing to the results they're getting. It's also tough for them to see how different behaviors, different actions, different thinking might get them different results. And so the self-awareness is a key one. So then the question is, how do you get more self-aware? Some of this is people are just some people are more naturally self-aware than others. But for folks that are not, maybe haven't thought about this or not familiar or haven't really tried to be more self-aware about things, two things that I find are helpful. One is just kind of clearing the mind, so whether it's meditation and stuff like that, or just being conscious of the thinking that you're having while you're in your environment, you're in these contexts. Creating more sort of empty space for you to be observant. I find that people who are not so self-aware typically have a lot of chatter going on in their thinking, meaning that they are constantly thinking about what they're going to say next or what the situation is, very kind of internally focused and not creating sort of space in their mind, space in their consciousness and their thinking to allow things to come in, allow the external input to come in. So the first thing I generally say is create more space, whether it's, like I said, mindfulness, meditation, or just checking your own thinking, being aware of your thinking, and slowing that down, creating some space, letting some pause happen in there so that you can actually be observant is probably the first thing. The second thing I say is getting good at receiving feedback. So we do a lot of training on how to give feedback. People talk about how to give feedback, and we can talk about all sorts of strategies about how to give feedback. But I actually think the more important one is how to receive feedback. And folks that are highly self-aware are very good at being super present when they're getting feedback, thanking people for that feedback, and just letting it sit and absorbing it and processing it later, not trying to defend it, not trying to dig into it at that moment. Being thankful, being aware, being present, being thankful is really the only things you need to receive feedback well. In fact, those are the things you should do to receive feedback well. And I find people that are highly self-aware are very good at that. People that are not so self-aware get caught in usually some kind of either defensive or justification strategy very, very quickly once they're getting feedback. So think about those two things. Like I said, that's something I look for in coaching clients when I work with CEOs, leaders on teams that are looking to grow at scale. That self-awareness is key. And if there is not a high level of self-awareness, I know that it's one of the first things we need to do is work on that before we can really dig into strategy and some of these other things. So think about your self-awareness. If you want to, obviously, comments, post them below. I would love conversation around this. You can always email me, bruce@eckfeld.com. Would love your thoughts and feedback on this. And if you are, obviously, if you're looking for a coach or you're looking for strategic coaching, we'd love to talk to you. You can always message me, bruce@eckfeld.com. All right, leave your comments below. Look forward to seeing them.